Hello, everybody. My name is Dani with Realistic Intentionality, and I want to thank you so much for being here. And I have a very amazing guest today. He is a longtime friend. I've known him since before I was really even conscious of life at all. And he was so full of experience and wisdom and knowledge. I'm so excited to dive in. So, everybody, please welcome Mike.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Welcome. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I'm so glad you reached out and you're down to do this with me. Yeah, seriously, you are one of the people that I like. If I can think about someone I've known for almost my whole life, you, I've like we talked about it. It was like
It
first grade.
it's been a long time.
Yes, you and John Jacobs are like the two dudes that I've known
Yeah.
since.
First grade.
Yup,
Yeah. Long, long time.
I know. And you've done so much different stuff since then. And I know that like we were already yapping, eating pizza, getting all into it.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
We on obviously like one big thing that I it's so let me preface this and say that I don't have really any regrets in life. There's only lessons that you learn from mistakes.
I
Um,
agree.
it's not something that on my deathbed I would ever say, I regret doing this or no, it has nothing to do with that. It's more or less, I have learned a lot in life.
Mm.
A lot. I mean, going through school, I never took it seriously. I don't think a lot of us have. Um,
You naturally excelled though in school, right?
yeah, but in a different way. So, geez, how do I even say this? So, my biggest thing is I was lazy.
Mm, gotcha.
So I wouldn't do homework. I would always do good on tests because I already knew the subject. I already was advanced in the understanding of what was being taught because just through how my family brung me up and how I was always around intellectual people, it kind of swayed my thought process.
Mhm.
So I would do really good on tests, but I wouldn't do any of my homework. And unfortunately, as you know, in Parkland,
It's a heavy that's a heavy load right there.
40 to 30% of our grade was based on homework, and I wouldn't do it. And
And a lot of like especially in high school, a lot of the homework was like out of the book. So you'd have to like turn through the books, you bring them home. Like it wasn't just simple worksheets. It was like multi-step processes that like when you are unmotivated, like that's not happening.
yeah, so I technically graduated high school with I think it was a 1.8.
No, no, wait, no. I think mine was maybe a 1 point. I think it was a 1.25.
How the hell did you graduate? I thought it was 1.5 or higher.
Yeah, I shouldn't have graduated.
Huh.
I I didn't. What's the fancy word for when you don't show up to work or at school? Um,
Um,
it's not tardiness. It's
no, it is tardiness.
well, tardiness is when you're late. But I got
Yeah, it's like not negligence, but like
there's a word for it.
there is.
I'll think of it.
Yeah.
I got kicked out of my house when I was 17. And so I lived in Center City, Allentown with a bunch of 20-year-olds for weeks. So I didn't go to school.
Oh boy.
So I got nailed for not having the amount of days I needed senior year. I had a bunch of undone Saturday detentions. And then also my GPA was horrible because of not going to classes and I straight skipped my electives.
So ninth grade, I remember I counted, it was over 80 skipped classes. So I had 80,
You said in freshman year?
yes, freshman year.
That was a big skipping year for me also.
Yeah. And I thought, oh, okay. I never got called down. I thought I could get away with it. Then comes sophomore year. It was like the third or fourth time I had skipped a class. I got called down and immediately got Saturday detention and stuff like that.
For the year prior?
No, it was for sophomore year.
Just booked you
So I guess
immediately.
what they were thinking is in ninth grade that, they're like, oh, they don't know their way around the school, blah, 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 and whatever. Well, no. So sophomore year, I kind of realized like, oh, I can't get away with that anymore. But, so that was my first reality check.
Mhm.
So, I started attending all my classes, all my study halls and stuff like that. Junior year, I went through everything. There there were some funny instances that occurred throughout high school.
I think we smoked weed occasionally together. Is that I don't know, is your job you're it doesn't matter now, but back in the day.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter because it's in the past. But yes,
I just fucking narked on you real hard on
no,
fine.
it's junior year I got arrested.
You got arrested junior year also?
Yeah,
So arrested during the summer.
I was dating and we were gonna pick her friend up from detention, and she wanted to smoke before we picked her up, so we went to Where's Dam, and we decided to smoke, and we were hitting the bowl and everything, and then a cop pulled in right behind us, and he said he was only there to do paperwork.
Oh, he was just hanging out.
And he saw us, shifting around because we noticed him, obviously, and then he came up to the window and he was like, "Oh, I smell marijuana." And of course, I said, "No, no, no, none of that." And then he was like, "All right, well, we're gonna get a dog out." And so,
You had a dog?
well, this is the funny part. So we waited almost 2 hours, and I finally gave up because I was just so tired of waiting. And I went up to him.
Damn, the dog was bucked.
Yeah. Apparently, like they just never.
Dogs had things to do.
They just never showed up. So like I told him I was like, hey, we're smoking a little bit. It's in the center console. It's my weed. Only I smoked. I'm the only one that like possesses it. I'm the only one that should get charged because I wanted to be the bigger guy.
Right, the hero complex. We were just talking about that off
Yeah.
camera, how kinda have that way too.
So I didn't want her getting in trouble.
Right.
And I said, it's all mine. And the cop talked to her then, and she said that we were both smoking. It's both of ours. And this and that. I'm like, you threw yourself under the bus. Like, I can't believe you did that. Like, and so we both ended up getting booked. I got 6 months probation. Had to do 40 hours community service, which ended up extending.
Did you do the marijuana awareness program?
No, so
Okay. We got different programs.
some good came out of it because I actually ended up volunteering at Goodwill Fire Company, and I got to do Toys for Tots.
Oh.
So I got to be on the main fire truck and hand out toys to kids, and like it really made me happy, and it was a great experience, and like that's why I never will look down on community service.
It's fulfilling too.
It is. Nothing brought a bigger smile to my face than hearing the fire truck's siren go off and us pulling up to a whole horde of kids and being able to hand out toys to them. It was great. Honestly, that was like the first big kind of like reality check to my life. Like, oh man, like even though I got in this trouble, here I am doing something good for the community. And, I really appreciated that. So, that was the main thing that came out of that. And to this day, like currently I don't smoke anymore. I just don't. So, um, and it's not because I think that smoking weed is bad or anything. It's just because like, I don't know, like I think there's more to life than that. And it's not that I don't enjoy it on special occasions. I will smoke and I'll have a great time. But smoking every day isn't for me anymore.
I can't smoke at all now. It makes me so paranoid and
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and it's like I'm the kind of person where it's like, if this isn't suiting me, if this isn't benefiting me, I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And so once it was after having a baby, I just couldn't get that
That
do it.
That's my biggest point. I started dating this girl. I was a senior, she was a sophomore. Um, she really sucked,
Mm,
but
no.
she was hot and I was stupid.
You are a teenage boy,
Yeah.
you know?
It was pure attraction, and I'll say thing more, pure attraction. And it went on for 3 years. And this is where it's gonna start to get a little deep. And I'm gonna try to hold it together, but there was a point where I was hanging out with my friends, having a great time. We were having little house parties and whatnot. I was going through college, and there was this girl named Tara Serino.
We were friends senior year. So,
Yeah. Me and Tara were hanging out a lot, and while I was in this relationship, and I really vibed with her, we got along really well. We were hooking up, and um, just in general, we were having a really, really good time. And I honestly, for the first time in my life, like I always thought like I was gonna die a bachelor, I was never gonna get married, never gonna have kids, this and that. And, you know, uh, there was one point where out of nowhere she kind of disappeared. Um, and we were all kind of like, where is Tara? Like, what happened? Because we were always hanging out together. She was honestly the first girl to ever humble me, which I really respected a lot because there was one time we were at my friend's house. We were all talking and we talked about a girl, and I said some dumb shit because, I'm a stupid fucking guy. And I spoke out of pocket, and she said, "What the hell are you saying? Like, how dare you speak like that?"
yeah.
And that was the first time that I've ever had a girl do that to me, and it kinda hit me, 'cause I'm like, "Yeah,
She
why am I
was
being an asshole?"
Oh, yeah, she was incredible. She would call people out, especially, like, in those kinda contexts where she was a girl's girl, she looked out for the girls, she seriously, like
I was saying some dumb shit, and she truly just called me out on it. She was like, "How fucking dare you say that about that person?" And I'm like, I can't even tell you that you're wrong. I am being an asshole. I'm being a dickhead." Like, and that made me have so much respect for her. And, again, we would occasionally hook up, and at one point, I honestly thought, like, hey, this is someone that I truly respect, and I could see a future with her. And that was the point at which she kind of disappeared, and we were all kind of like, "Hey, have you heard from Tara?" And everyone was like, "No." It was me, Robin, Sarah, Joey. We were all just like, "No, like, we haven't heard from her." And I remember I was sitting at Joey's house. It was like 1 a.m. in the morning, and Robin's like, "Hey, I'm coming over." And we're like, "Okay, cool. Come smoke, come chill." And that was when Robin sent the text of the morning call article about how she was brutally murdered.
Yeah.
And I read it and I was like, "Holy shit." And I'm like, first time I read it, I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
that's not the same. That's not the same Tara. There's no way. There's no way." Like, I was immediately in denial. I was like, there's no way.
She seemed like the kind of person that that would never happen to. Yeah.
I wish.
Yep.
And like, read it again and again and again. And I just remember feeling like a total piece of shit because the only reason why I wasn't, I still blame myself for it, but the only reason I feel that she passed away was because I was in a dead end fucking relationship and I didn't want to let that relationship go. And, it just sucks because I always think like if I would just let that relationship go, then she wouldn't have never been in that situation.
Yeah, it's so hard. I remember the exact moment that I saw that. It was the morning call or WFMZ or something.
It was the morning call. Yeah.
Yeah, and it the feeling cannot be compared. And to this day, that shifted my entire perspective. Like when people talk about, or when they fetishize or true crime or any of those kind of stories and horrors, I just can't get behind it because I forever see her in those stories.
It just, it sucks because I know that if I would have just let that relationship go and would have pursued the relationship with her, she would never die.
That's a heavy weight to carry.
Still,
And that's a weight that only you can.
it still weighs on me to this day. It's
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
No, that's a very real weight to feel because, so many people will try to tell you, like, you can't say that, you don't know that, you shouldn't carry that weight.
No, it's bullshit because I know.
The reality is, you know what you know,
I
your
still,
experiences.
I still visit her grave to this day. I was at her memorial. I was at her. Fuck. Just sucks to even talk about. 'Cause even years later now, I'm still like fucked up about it.
It's always going to be that way, when you have a loss and a weight like that, it doesn't life doesn't move on around it, or life doesn't move on past it. You just build life around it, but it doesn't shrink. It does smaller. You carry that every single day. And I carry very similar weights in my own life where,
It's just tough.
yeah, like you know, there were people that lost their life and they were in my inbox, like
Yeah,
very, um, you know, like prior, and it's like,
it's tough getting older because people die around you, and you know that your impact could have had a difference.
yeah, it's the butterfly effect that just the simplest little difference and make all the change.
Yeah.
And at least for yourself, you can carry that weight with the responsibility and acknowledgement that you know that now. Because some people go through these things and they don't change. They don't let it
Yeah.
be something that makes them improve other people's lives around them. But by you honoring that pain and that weight, you're doing the best that can possibly be made out of that situation.
That's why I always make sure to check on the people that I care for and just try to keep tabs because every day I drive past her grave, I'm always saying the same thing. Always saying like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's past the point of no return, and that's just how it's gonna be.
I will never be the kind of person to speculate on what someone's going through when they're going through their
Oh
or
no,
right. And it's like, I'm not going to speculate how she would feel, how you would feel, how anything would have been different. All I can acknowledge is the crippling weight of the responsibility and pain and anguish over these kind of situations.
yeah, no, I always just keep my circle close. and I try to make sure everyone's okay.
Yeah.
If anyone needs me, I'm here.
Mhm. And that's the best thing you can do with that kind of because that pain is now it's imprinted on you.
It'll haunt me till I die.
Yeah, it's a part of you now. And to try to ignore it or I don't know, like it, to try to not acknowledge it,
Yeah.
that's gonna
That would be criminal.
right.
It would be criminal.
It is now a part of you. It's a part of your being. It is a part of how you operate
Yeah.
with every part of you to this day.
I could have stopped it, but obviously I didn't know that that would happen. But
No one did.
no, I know.
Yeah.
It just sucks though because like when you look at it, you know, it's like fuck, it weighs on you big time.
I think you're handling the weight with beauty and insightfulness that is the best that anyone could hope.
It sucks too because she was the one of the only people that actually introduced me to her family, and that I wouldn't have been. And it's not that I blame the girl I was with at the time; it's that I blame myself. But
Yeah.
it was tough. It was really. I mean, it's still really hard to even talk about, but
Yeah. Well, I think I commend you for talking about it and for
I have to.
you're honoring her by talking about it, but and you're honoring anyone else who's been in similar situations by feeling these feelings and talking about it and going through it. So I really commend you, and I think that's an incredible thing, and I think that's the best thing you can do.
I don't expect praise from it because it is a terrible weight to have, knowing that you could have changed someone's outcome on life in the way of either life or death. It sucks. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But, I'm just glad that she doesn't have to deal with that anymore.
Mm. I do believe that death is, regardless of your belief systems, regardless of
Yeah.
what you
Side.
yeah, I do believe that death it's the natural thing. We came from a void. We return to that void and it's inevitable. We're all going that way. We're all walking each other home.
Yeah.
And some people walk a little less, but
Yeah.
you know, you honor her when she was in front of you, and now you're honoring her when she's outside of us. And
Always.
that is the best you can do. And like truly, whether someone is alive next to you or they have passed away 10 years ago.
Been over 6 years.
Yeah. Honoring them. And
Well, I can go over 6 years now, but yeah.
I know. And it's like, her sister just released a book. So if anyone is interested in reading Tara's story from her sister, it's Cherished. You can find it on Amazon. I'll post the link below. She's a very loved person. She was
Just the kindest soul.
when she was spunky and she was funny, dude. Like
Yeah, she was funny. She cracked me up.
yeah, her and I sat next to each other for at least half the year. I think it was the full year, but maybe just half the year of senior year. And I hadn't known her previously. And she sat next to me and like I was kind of like, how does a bitch? Oh, and like I was kind of hard to base.
I don't think you're a bitch, but
Not so much now, but then,
well,
you know,
I remember your party that we went to where we all went in the little blow up hot tub with Nate and Nick Mixon.
oh my God. That is so funny. I like don't recall. Was that,
I mean, we were all really drunk.
yeah.
Yeah, we were all really.
Was that my yard or on the porch?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that was that senior year?
Was it right after graduation?
It might have been right after graduation. I don't think we were in school anymore.
I had a hookah out, right? I had a giant hookah out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got busted real bad for that. Yeah, I did. I got the bacteria levels of the hot tub were like insane. Hashtag
Everyone got UTIs.
I don't know how I did. And
Then
then my mom, she was like, yeah, we checked the levels of the hot tub. And then she's also like, and we found bottle caps in it.
yes, that was from me.
Mhm. Yeah, I got busted.
Yeah, my whole Corona bottle, I'm pretty sure went underwater.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. I don't recall much of that night.
No, it was a crazy day. I barely all I remember is fighting Nick and kicking his ass, and then Nate tried to fight me and kicking his ass, and then that's really all I remember. And then being in the hot tub. That's all I could remember.
Is that the chronological of the
I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. At first it was Nick, and then Nate was like, "Oh, we throw fist cups." I'm like, "All right, let's do it." Like,
That is so funny. I don't remember any of that.
yeah, yeah.
And I was there. Like,
You were, yeah.
yeah, lights were on, no one was home.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, at that point, I think we were all very drunk. But, anyways,
Y-
so yeah, moving forward from the sadness and all that. So come senior year, graduate amazingly. Um, I decided to go to college. It was actually kind of really funny because me and Nick, we were in our engineering class and not neither me or him had applied to any colleges. Like we were like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like both me and him were like, nah. So we decided to apply to El Trice. We both applied. I think we both got in. I don't really know his side of it, but I know I got in and I went to college for 2 years initially. My first year, I tried as a computer science major. Wasn't really for me. Um, I just really wasn't into it. And then I decided to be a biotech major. Wasn't really my forte either. Um, and essentially, long story short, I wasn't taking I never was taking school seriously because like I had a little bit of a big head about myself when it came to like intellectual stuff because I knew that I was smart, but I didn't apply myself. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm going to community college. Like, I'm not trying. I'm not.
I didn't even make it that far.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's. I've met plenty of very smart people that have even gone to college. It's not really like it's a label
Right. It's
more
that
than
was it.
yeah, yeah. It's more of a label than anything. Like I tell people that about college all the time. Like it helps with getting jobs, but it's not really something that you need to have to get a job because if you can apply yourself better than just showing a fucking piece of paper,
Mhm.
it, it's a whole different thing. Like when people say that college is a waste of time, it is and it isn't. It really depends on the person. It it can help a lot, but it also could just mean nothing. I've met plenty of PhD students or graduates, I should say, that are fucking morons. Telling you,
Oh yeah.
fucking morons. I can tell you that for sure, especially in my field currently. But regardless, so I spent those 2 years switching majors, and I inevitably got kicked out of actually community college.
How'd you what your grades or
Yeah,
oh,
so I got put on academic suspension as my GPA wasn't high enough because I just was not interested in the two degrees that I was trying to get. So I was a waiter at Applebee's. Um,
shout out Applebee's.
and
Oh,
know,
for one apps. Is that the thing at Applebee's?
it used to be 2 for $20. Now I think it's like 2 for 30 something. Because shout out to inflation.
Yeah.
Um, but in that year I had off because academic suspension was only a year. I I kind of looked at myself and I said, man, I don't want to fucking be a waiter the rest of my life. It wasn't a job I wanted to do.
Right. It was a job that you knew just didn't align with
Yeah.
what you were
And
doing.
so it kind of lit a fire under my ass. So I went back to LTRC on technically my fourth year there because the third year I had off because I was forced to because they basically kicked me out. And I went through a whole academic review. So I sat in front of 5 professors and the dean and explained why they should let me back in and explained myself. And they allowed me to come back and retry. And the next 2.5 years, um, I really applied myself. I really like set what I needed to do as like the easiest way to explain it is like I knew that I needed to succeed. I needed to get what I wanted. And I ended up graduating with my degree with 3.8 GPA.
Wow. That's a big jump from high school.
Yeah,
Good for you.
big time.
Mhm.
It even shocked myself.
Mhm.
I was amazed. I was like, "Holy shit, like I can actually do this if I apply myself." So I made sure I did all my assignments, I made sure I did all my exams, I made sure that I did everything to my fullest. I was damn near close to a perfect 4.0, and I graduated with a degree in industrial automation robotics. I got hired before I even graduated to do a project management position at a steel company called Michelman Enterprises. They do bridge work for all of New York City. I worked there for 2.5 years. Then I moved on from that to I interned as an estimation engineer for a little bit. I did sales engineer for a little bit. And then I ultimately landed myself as a calibration engineer for about 2.5 years. Then I joined the current company I'm at, which is Surface Measurement Systems, which is a fantastic company. They're UK based. They're amazing. They treat me so well and they're fantastic. I travel all over the US. You know, they're great. They really are. Um but prior to that, throughout all of this nonsense of just working my way up in the field, I started my own YouTube channel with what I thought was a friend of mine. We started Two Dudes Audio, and uh, easiest way to explain this is we actually met off of doing Facebook Marketplace.
Mm.
I'm really big into audio. So like speakers, amplifiers, stuff like that. Like I was always buying, selling, trading, just it was just a little side thing I did because it's a hobby of mine. We were always trading and buying from each other, selling to each other, stuff like that. And, it came to a point where we were like, hey, why don't we like for shits and giggles, why don't we start a YouTube channel? And so we both agreed and everything was going great. We hit 1,000 subscribers within like less than a year. And then it kept escalating, escalating, escalating. We had companies contacting us, giving us equipment. Everything was great. And like he was really big into like videography. So like he supplied all the microphones and cameras because that was like his thing.
Right.
And I supplied my knowledge of audio equipment
Right.
because that was my thing. So it was like a perfect clash. Out of nowhere, he wanted to bring someone that he was dealing with on onto our channel. And I said, okay, like what is he
2
gonna
dudes to 3 dudes, huh?
yeah, kind of. Like I was like, why? Like why do we need another person? And he was like, oh, he'll just help with you know, editing and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, like sure. Well, it wasn't that.
Mm.
What it was, and he didn't have the balls to tell me because sure enough, after some time of having our channel, he changed the passwords. to our YouTube, into everything. So I couldn't see the monetary stats of
A tale as old as time.
yeah.
Oh, I got it. Oh, there's a security problem. Like, don't worry about it.
No, he would send me screenshots instead of answering my question. Yeah. So he would just like
Mm.
kind of pussyfoot around my questions. And so he said one day, he's like, oh, it was a guy named Ryan. He's like, why don't you have a meeting with me and Ryan? So I go over there and he's like, uh, I'll still pay you, but maybe like not be a part of the channel anymore. And I'm like, I'm sorry, are you fucking kicking me out? I'm the reason, like, I'm the face of the channel. The reason why we got up to even, I think we're at like 7,000 subscribers. I think actually,
I remember I checked it out back in the day.
I think it's like up to 8,000 subscribers. Whatever. And like, it's really not even that crazy. Like,
But it's a niche. And so it's like when you're doing a niche thing,
right.
you're not going to get a million subscribers.
No.
But the ones that are tuning in, they're very engaged.
Yeah.
Yep. And then all the people that are sending you equipment, they look for the engagement.
And the fact that it was me and him that did all of that. And then all of a sudden, I'm trying to get apparently I'm getting the boot. So I sit down with them and it got to a point where things got heated. Well, in my opinion, I was ready to I was, without incriminating myself, I was ready to get busy with it,
Yeah.
and it got to a point where I was just like, fuck it. I'll just let it go. Let's just keep filming. So we kept filming and just shit wasn't the same anymore. And I could tell because like things were just getting ridiculous. I was like, you know what? And like through the group chats and I have all the saved messages and everything. I just said, you know what? This shit's getting toxic. I have a kid. I have a wife. I have a house. I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be the bigger person.
Right. And you're not going to like allow yourself to be in a situation that's quite frankly uncomfortable. Like when things start getting toxic, but you're still trying to operate something like a project, it's just so uncomfortable. It's like you shouldn't put yourself through that.
The most disappointing part of it was that he relied on Ryan to tell me how felt.
Right.
And now that was the part that really fucked me up.
Right.
So I'm like, dude, me and you started this and you can't even tell me this from your own mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked up.
Right. Because that shows like a basic lack of respect as even just individuals, regardless of friendship.
You don't have the balls to tell me man to man, or even not even man to man, person to person. Like, come on.
Yeah, I've done tons of work with like, a lot of different projects. And there was one that I got stiffed really bad, like thousands of dollars. And they did not come to me to let me know. A lot of people got stiffed. It wasn't just me. And they didn't go and like do the responsible thing and like have the tough conversation. Instead, they just like let it ride out where people were like, where's our checks? Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like when you cannot handle the responsibility of having the tough conversations, you should not be in charge of a project that employs people.
Yeah.
Because employing people, you need to have that leadership quality of handling the tough conversations.
And the fucked up part too was I told because I knew he was doing the editing and I knew he was doing more work than just me being in front of the camera and doing all the talking and stuff. I told him he could have 2/3 of our income and I'll take a third. He said, no, 50-50. And then it came to that.
Right.
I was like, dude, come on. Like, I told you that if you're going to do more work than me, take 2/3. I'll gladly take a third.
Yeah.
Nope.
Right.
It came to bringing in the third person to speak for him. And it came to a point, I mean, like, the conversation got so heated, I was ready to leap over that table.
Right.
I was ready to... I was like, nah.
Well, it's hard, especially because you and I are similar in that we can talk about the hard things. I mean, even throughout this podcast. And so it's like when you're someone that can verbalize and you're someone that can be concise and explain your feelings, explain the situation.
Yeah, I don't gotta get physical.
Right. And try to make a solution.
Yeah.
Try to make the situation work. And you are faced with someone that is unwilling to have that conversation. And you know, it's a lot of people are raised to fear confrontation. And so I can recognize how that is something people are raised to like, they're scared to confront things. But as humans, as social creatures,
Yeah.
we need to know how to confront. We need to know how to have these conversations.
Yes. No, it was mind-blowing to me because I'm like, "Fucking how dare you?"
Yeah.
Like, that was my big thing, like, if you feel a type of way, talk to me about it.
Right.
To have someone else talk to me about it, that's more insulting than you just coming to me as a human and being like, "Hey, I have this issue." I'll listen. I'm not gonna get, physical about it. I'm not gonna try to escalate it. I just wanna hear it from you.
Right.
But you have someone else deliver that to me, that's when it bothers me.
Right. Especially someone you're not.
Yeah.
You don't really.
Oh, I didn't know this fucking guy at all.
Right.
That's the part that pissed me off the most. And like, ah,
Yeah. Especially my personal life, through roommates and friendships and all the years,
right.
whenever there's a conflict with me, like they view me as the problem, regardless of if I was or wasn't. It's like, if they don't talk to me about it, how am I supposed to help things and compromise? And so any inability to have that conversation
Yeah.
and to like have that communication, it's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be allowed to make this better.
Right.
Like, if I'm not even granted the grace of having a conversation, I can't make things better.
100%.
Yeah, it's hard, because truly, I do feel like a lot of people are raised to not verbalize and not know how to have that basic communication, and unfortunately, it's gonna have a negative effect.
Yeah.
It messes with people like us throughout their life, but it's gonna be a consistently difficult.
I come from a Jersey household. You got a problem, you speak it.
Mm,
Like, you say it right away. Like, and that's what I like is like, I'm doing something wrong, tell me right the fuck away.
right,
Don't bury it and then one day come out about it because I'm like, why the fuck didn't you tell me about it in the first place?
right. I came from a very confrontational household, but then I had to learn how to confront um without spitting poison, right? Because my family have the toxicity of it. And so I always knew to confront people, but often, like if I got pushed to a point, I would just say the absolute things that I should not say, whether they were truthful or not,
Even
you know?
Yeah, even with like, so I've had that issue happen. Actually, not, I wouldn't say recently, but within the past few months. Like, I've had that issue with even my best friend. Like, I told him, like, I've kept my cool. I would try to talk him through it. But the second it finally hits that point where I'm just boiled over, I snap.
Right. Yeah.
Because, like, I'll be like, I'll keep it like 10%, 10%, 10%. But the second, like, that 10% wears out,
It bumps out. Yeah.
it's 90 to 100%. It's like, okay, let's fucking go.
I'm very similar. Like I have a very big patience threshold. Like I have a lot more patience
Yeah.
than the average person.
Yes.
But the moment that patience has
It-
gone through,
Nap time.
and I think I talked about in the first podcast. I literally like I'm a wall puncher. I have done that. I've punched walls.
Yeah, the scars on my knuckles.
Yeah, I pressed on my knuckles, and like I don't want to be that.
Oh, no, it's not that fun. But wait, man.
When you are such a patient person,
It gets to a point.
yeah, it's very hard. It's like I need to snap.
Yeah.
Like my partner, he's always like he'll see me like about to like smash on something.
It's the water glass.
Right.
It's like you fill up the water in the glass so high, the second it spills over,
And it needs to go somewhere.
yes.
And so, yeah, I'm just like, I really need to lay my own rage room
Yeah.
because I'm, he'll,
You'll take it and
yeah,
take it and take it, and then there's just a point where it's no longer can you hold back.
right. And I don't think I should, like,
No,
I don't think I should punch walls, but I think like,
no, it's not healthy to be like that at all, but at the same time, like, what can you do?
right, like,
You're trying to de-escalate the situation for so long, and then there just comes to a point where it's like, there's no going back.
but when I'm at a point where my nerves are shot,
Mhm.
I am worn thin, I just need to like, I just need to have my flip out.
Yep.
And and it's nothing wrong. Like I'm not violent. I'm not gonna hurt someone. I don't punch walls anymore.
You try to be as patient as you possibly can.
Flipping out is a form of therapy.
Oh, totally.
I'd like to take a moment to thank today's episode sponsor, Whiteside Cleaning. As a locally owned and operated business, they are committed to delivering unparalleled results while maintaining the highest standards. Their team of experienced, detail-oriented cleaners are dedicated to transforming spaces and exceeding their clients' expectations with each and every visit. Whether you need routine cleaning, a deep cleaning, or special event cleaning, they have the expertise and the resources to get the job done right. You can find them at Whiteside Cleaning on Facebook and Instagram, and they are located in Blandon, Pennsylvania. They can be reached at 610-750-0015 or through their email, whiteside.cleaning.services@gmail.com. They are an amazing business owned and ran by our dear friend Leah Whiteside, as she was on one of our episodes already. And I highly recommend you guys reaching out to her company for all your cleaning needs. Seriously, she is amazing. Their company is unmatched, and I cannot recommend Whiteside Cleaning Services more. So thank you so much for sponsoring this episode, and let's get back to it.
I agree with that 100%.
So do you think you'll ever make another YouTube channel just for yourself? I know you said you're not too much into the editing.
Like, I really do want to. I don't know. Ever since that whole thing happened, I just like, my thing about it is money turns people ugly.
It does. It does.
It turns them ugly nonstop. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a greedy person. If I had all the money in the world, I'd probably be more sad than I am with not having that money.
Right.
Because like not having money makes you work, like it makes you set goals. It makes you want to strive to do things.
Yeah.
When you have all the money in the world, what is your motivation? I don't know. I can't even fathom what I would do with my life if I had all the money in the world.
Oh yeah. Literally, on a few podcasts ago, I had Full Life on. You guys can look up that episode. And we talked about what we would do if we had all our money, all our kids' tuitions were covered. Like, what do you do? We joked about how we would both buy boats, we would both buy horses, and we would race our boats and race our horses on the boats. Because, like, what?
Like,
What?
well, what do you like? Literally, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like when you don't have, as I always say, it's contrast theory. If you don't know what you don't have, how are you going to enjoy what you then do have?
Right.
So if you are existing in life with everything you could possibly have, how are you going to appreciate that without knowing what you don't have?
Right.
Originally, I always wanted to be like a millionaire and this and that. And then like I got older and I'm like, if I had millions of dollars, what the fuck would I be doing?
Yeah. You'd probably be getting into trouble.
I'd just be like on a fucking yacht doing blow fucking strippers. Like I'd just be like doing really stupid shit that really had no meaning.
Yeah.
And sure, that'd be fun for the moment, but then you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, are you gonna do the same fucking thing again?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I feel like once you get to the point where it's like, I don't know, when you're so like, it's so crazy the amount, but the wealth distribution in our world. Because when you think of like someone who's Jeff Bezos rich, it's like all you can do with that money is buy other companies and keep making more money. There's literally like nothing
You
else.
also keep yourself busy.
Right. And it's like, I was like, I can't even imagine a life that you're a rich person and you can afford to get a massage twice a day. Because literally, like to
And then how many times can you do that in a month?
or get
For a year, like,
right.
the fuck, like,
Why am I even getting massaged anymore? It's like it's so wild. That
gotta get overstimulated. I'd be like, all right, stop touching me.
if someone gives me another massage,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
flipping the fuck
Yeah,
out.
right.
Don't you get near me with those hot stones.
It's just like, I don't know, like, a lot of life comes with the good and the bad. You have to have both to enjoy it.
Yep.
Like, you can't just always have the good because then, like, how do you know it's the good?
Oh yeah. One time I had a very uh insightful psychedelic trip. And I realized that it's the oscillation between extremes that creates the interest in life. And it's like you
Can share an experience about that.
oh yeah, but yeah, I basically oscillating between all these extremes, happiness, sad, rich, poor, loved, unloved. It's that constant dance is that what keeps you moving. It keeps you propelling because you need to get past these. You're once you're in one, you want to have the other, or you think you don't want it, but really, Scott, you
Contrast theory, I'm
yeah,
telling you.
yeah.
So when I had my year off during college, I was at East Stroudsburg University with my good friend Andrew. Honestly, he's the best friend. I mean, like I love the guy to death. I would take a bullet for him. But we we had a group trip on some, I won't say what, but some psychedelic. And we were all, it was 10 of us. We all took it. Me and Andrew had an extra tab, so I was like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do with that extra tab?" He's like, "Let's split it." I'm like, "Okay." So we split the tab to just be a little extra, and we were like, "All right." And I was like, "Yo, we should go outside. We should go outside." And we're like, "All right, all right." So we go outside for his parent teacher day,
Oh,
or
oh,
what do they call that in college?
uh,
Like tour day.
yeah, or like yeah, or a
Like,
parents weekend or whatever.
yeah, yeah. When like the future students come to tour the campus,
Well, like orientation.
something like that. Yeah. The other people that decide to come outside with me were all just like walking next to me, and I'm just like cruising with them. And me and this guy Jr. We decided to sit under a tree, and he said, and it was a beautiful day outside. I mean, like, it was 70 degrees out, nice breeze, sunny, clear day, fucking gorgeous. And we're tripping hard. And he looks at me and says something that for the rest of my life will always resonate with me because it made the most sense at the time.
Mm. Everything always does in those moments.
And he just goes, "Hey, man, what do you think they're thinking?" I'm like, "Who?" And it's like, "Those people." There's all the parents and kids walking on the sidewalks and stuff. I said, "I don't know, man. I think I think no matter what we say or do right now wouldn't affect the outcome of what they do or think for the rest of their lives." He just looks at me, he goes, "Bro." And I'm like, "Bro." And it's just like, it made me realize, because like, it was basically like a clairvoyant form of realizing that, like, you're your own person, you're living your own life, your experiences are your experience.
Right.
Anything you do or decide or choose to do, for the most part, obviously, besides like doing something really stupid that affects someone else, but
Right.
has no effect on anyone.
Right. It's another bit.
It's your life.
Yep.
And that, like, really fucking opened my eyes, and that's one of the reasons why I kinda lit a fire under my ass when I went back to college, is because I realized, "Man, I'm doing this for me." Like, I'm not doing this for anyone else.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with anyone.
Oh, yeah.
It has everything to do with just me,
Mhm.
and, like, it's the opposite of being selfless because you're not you're not trying to prove to anyone who you are. It's what you're trying to be to yourself.
Yeah. Oh, that is what my whole platform is built on, and so it mostly gets on the blog, but my whole platform is creating a life that you exist with. And it's not about what your parents, what your partner, what your friends want from you. It's what you truly want and using that
Yeah.
as the pure intention and a drive. Like every day you think about the life you want, and that's going to affect every decision you make.
Yep.
Are you want to travel, right? You want to travel and you want to learn a bunch of different languages. Are you going to get up and are you going to do your Spanish lesson? Or are you going to go hang out with some people watching the same movie you already watched with them
Right.
times?
Right.
And it's using the intention of what you want because this life is not about anyone else. It's about you. It's about what you want and using that to drive every single decision you make in your
Yep.
life.
Absolutely.
And that's what my whole platform's on. Realistic intentionality is all about empowering people to realize that this life is for them. And this life, we are only guaranteed one thing, regardless of your religious beliefs, whatever. We are guaranteed that we are living until one day we are not.
Yeah.
And we are only guaranteed this for sure. Regardless, you can believe in reincarnation, you can believe in heaven, hell, whatever. The only true guarantee is right now, what we're doing. And you need to do what's going to fulfill you and not what everyone else wants from you or what society expects you to do.
As I always say, with religion, there's only one thing that's guaranteed, and it's after you're dead.
Yep.
You have no idea until it comes.
Yep. You don't know.
You're here right now.
The only thing you know is now.
Yeah.
Truly. And it's where people are like, oh, it's the power of now. And you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about then? No, it's the concept. This life is all we truly know. And it's all that we're guaranteed.
It is.
And so, like, to live in your apartment, working for a piece of shit boss with a partner you don't really like, trying to appease friends that don't really like you, that is not a way to live.
Yep.
You need to chase your desires, be in a pursuit of passion, and you need to go for what you want day after day.
100%.
Yeah, that's huge. And, you and your friend had it right under that tree. It's always a potent experience when you're like on psychedelics and you get those insights because it always feels so like
Yeah.
life shattering and
It does, because when you, like, really experience that, it's just, like, it's like, I always say, like, drugs, psychedelics, they're not for everyone.
right.
But when you're looking for an answer, when you're looking for a reason in life, I mean, that's
There's therapeutic psychedelics that can definitely cater to that
yeah.
for sure.
I mean, like, I personally, between the age of 14 to about 17, um, I struggled with extreme depression, self-harm. I still have the scars to remember it. I mean, I got deep scars on my left thigh. I cut the backs of my hands up. I cut my ribs up. I've been through the ringer of, there was even one point um in the past, probably about 2, 3 years ago, I really got heavy into drinking, like heavy, heavy. I was I was drinking about bottle of Tito's a day, waking up drinking. I would take 4 to 5 to 6 big gulps of Tito's before I'd go to work. I would keep the bottle in my car and drink it on my lunch break. I would get home and drink it, and I would try to hide it from my wife. And, uh, it got to a point where I was so upset with myself. I was sitting in my garage listening to music, um, and I had my gun, and I admittedly did hold it up to my head. There wasn't one in the chamber, but it
Just to feel it.
it's
Yeah. Because in those moments, that release does seem like the only thing that could feel real.
and thankfully, before I could even cock it or anything like that, my wife and my friend that was living with me, my best friend Robin, came down to the garage and opened the garage door and found me. And, that was quite a rude awakening. Again, I mean, like I said, I don't have any regrets. I just have lessons.
Right.
Because if you have regrets, that means you didn't learn from those events. So, hey,
It's hard when you get to those points, those rock bottoms, where you do have to completely build everything back up. I had a drinking problem, and I had when I was drinking, I was also doing a lot of coke and Percocet, and
I was smoking and drinking, so yeah.
yeah, and like I had my own moments similar to that, in the basement with a handful of pills, ready to just, you know,
Because you think that's the only way out.
right? And especially when using alcohol and substances, it truly feels like there is absolutely no other way out because now you have a chemical substance um, dependency,
Yeah.
as well as the bullshit that put you in that place.
Yeah.
And then the bullshit that those things caused in the time of use. It seems like you have a whole fucking world up against you and there's only one way out.
Yeah. Oh, it's unreal because it's nothing you can ever really like explain to someone unless they've been to that point. I mean, like, you can keep climbing and climbing and climbing. And as long as you don't drop off, which means you probably didn't make it, uh it's it's a thing. I I can't even put it into words. It's just
What was it like to hit that point and then rebuild for you?
I'm gonna be honest, the thing that really brought me back was thinking about Tara.
Mm.
I just thought, like, if there is an afterlife and if she was looking down, you know, what would she think?
Mm.
And that was kind of my thing is like, she's dead, unfortunately, but I just feel like she'd be so disappointed. And everyone else that I know that is dead as well, they'd all just kind of look at me like with disappointment because they're like, dude, we didn't choose to die,
Right.
but you did.
Yeah.
And they would just be pissed.
Yeah.
I
They'd be like, this fucking guy.
stepped over the other side and they'd be like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
everyone that I knew that had been passed away and dead, like, they'd all just kind of be like, the fuck's wrong with you?
Mhm.
And knowing that, like, my wife would be upset, my family would be upset, but they're still living.
Yeah.
So I know that, there's the possibility that they'll eventually move on. Everyone that's passed away, God forbid, there's an afterlife and they're looking down on me and they see me do that. All I'd get met with in the afterlife would be disappointment.
There's this concept that when your loved ones have passed away and you witness that and you go through that, they pass their souls into you and that you have to carry them throughout your vessel, throughout your life. So that kind of pays testament to that, where it's like you have a job now to honor those losses. Being in those moments where you do just want to end it all, you're ending their chance to walk through you. Well, it is for you to embody.
I'd be pissed too, because anyone that's living that remembers me decides to end it. It's like, you can't remember me now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like we have to carry their legacy. And, and I do think about that often myself, because I hit that rock bottom back in 2014, 2015. I think early 2015. And then recently I developed severe anxiety, and it almost was causing psychosis from how severe the anxiety was.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, where it's just like I felt like I was truly losing my mind.
Yeah.
And this was seriously like a year and a half ago.
Well,
And I just wanted it to end. I was like, this is agony. Like, existence is agony right now. But I know that I'm carrying people's stories and love and legacies that need to be carried, especially with the intention that I have, because I do acknowledge it. Some people carry it without really realizing. I know that these people, I am carrying their lessons, their messages. And so and then also with my son, where it's like, if I give up,
mhm.
then I'm setting him up to have to carry such a big weight himself.
Yeah.
And so it's the combination of the two that really motivated me to figure out my treatment, figure out how to get my life back. And I did, luckily, after a year and a half of really understanding where my anxiety and my issues were rooted from and treating them accordingly. I built myself back, and I'm so thankful that I didn't give up in that moment, because I'm carrying their message with so much more purpose and strength now. So it's like when you have hit your bottoms and you've hit your deep lows, you're still carrying such important things that deserve to be carried. And so that is such a real thing when you do say, like,
Right.
that's what got me through. That's very real, very legitimate. And people should know about that. And they should really consider that and talk about that. There's so much more that can save your life. Dude, even if someone decides not to die out of spite for someone they hate, good on them. Everyone needs to find their reason to keep going,
Yeah.
you know? And everyone needs to find their reason and hold on to it for dear life.
Yeah.
So good on you. I'd applaud you, and I'm like proud of you for going through that and having the awareness to know what brought you back from that dark place.
Yeah. No, it's a gift and a curse,
Yeah.
because, the hardest part about getting older is, remembering those that you used to spend time with.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, it's hard. The pace of life and its changes and its permanence. It's the permanence of the changes.
Yeah.
It's like, uh
Knowing that you can't undo what has been done. And I hate the word regret, because it's not a regret. It's just an experience. And you either learn from it or you don't.
right.
You either care about it or you don't.
Yeah.
And if you don't care about it, then honestly, shame on you, because there's a lesson in every single experience that you occur.
Right. And those lessons deserve to be acknowledged.
And honored.
Yeah, exactly. For
Yeah.
sure. And it's like you need to honor that. And so, you know, for you to have this awareness of yourself and these experiences you went through is something very profound. And it is something that I am so grateful you're speaking to me about it. I'm so thankful and humbled that you are. And I think you should continue talking about it wherever throughout your path.
It has been nice talking about it.
Yeah, stay true and stay authentic to your experience, because it is the weight and the lessons that you have went through and carried, and that you are now being able to work through and process are life-saving for so many people out there. And so I really applaud you for coming on and speaking about it.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since rebuilding your life, you've learned
Yeah.
lessons.
So, my wife and I, we actually met way back when. It was probably, oh shit, probably 2015, 2016. My going nowhere girlfriend at the time convinced me to work with her at a car wash.
Hmm.
So I said, all right, I was like kind of in between jobs. I mean, I was in college, so it was like, screw it, whatever. I met a girl named Rachel who I didn't even introduce myself because, like, I don't know. In my opinion, I'm not your typical guy when it comes to talking to girls.
Mm.
I just treat them like a human being.
Right.
I just talk to them.
Yeah.
I think you can confirm that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just
Honestly, you treated me with so much more acknowledgement and respect than most people did in middle school. So,
that's what I mean. I just talk to you like you're a person.
yeah, like you actually didn't discount me because I had glasses and buck teeth, and it was like, wow,
Yeah, no, because
he acknowledges that I'm a person. That's nice.
people are people. I don't know. Like, well, I think that comes back to the fact that I was raised by women. Like, all my cousins are girls, and like I grew up with my sister, and like I don't know. I was just always around women growing up, so like that's just how I knew how to talk.
Yeah.
I was never raised by guys. I was always raised by girls. Sort of like I just knew how to talk to people.
Right.
So like, I'm just like I come up to her and the first thing I say to her, we're both out back watching people like dry their cars and vacuum their cars. And I said to her, I said, what do you think that guy's thinking? I didn't even introduce myself, nothing. I just like, what do you think that guy's thinking? She's like, what? I'm like, guy over there on the I forget what vehicle he had, but I was like, that guy over there. She's like, I don't know. I think he's thinking like maybe I should make this thing really shiny for my second wife or something. I was like, yeah, I bet he neglects his current wife or whatever. Just like stupid shit. Yeah. And like and from that point forward, like we really hit it off. And like I never flirted with her because like honestly, I'm not much of a flirt. Like I don't know. Like I don't really flirt.
Right. You just seek for connection.
Yeah. Like like if like I can tell if a girl likes me and I think a girl can tell if I like her. I don't know. I don't know. Again, like I'm just not a flirt.
Hey, if it vibes, it vibes.
That's it.
Simple as that.
That's basically it. But like, we get to know each other, we're like talking all the time and stuff and having a good time. Ended up quitting. Like a year later, I ended up breaking up with that girlfriend that I had been with for 3 years. I was in the Tinder game for a while. I went on probably like, I don't even know, probably like 40 or 50 dates with just a bunch of different people. Like, it was a lot. Like,
Yeah.
and none of them really like worked.
Right.
None of them like I never.
Didn't click.
No, yeah, exactly. Like it was a lot of wasted time. Um, and I was about to delete the Tinder app, and I was like literally on my phone going to delete it. And I see I got one recent notification. I was like, ah, fucking all right. And it was Rachel, my current wife, and she was like, hey. I'm like, oh, fuck it. What's one more? And I was like, hi. And they're like, why are you talking to me like that? And I'm like, should I talk to you any other way? Like, what do you mean? She's like, do you not recognize me? And I'm like, no, I didn't. because like this is years.
Right. And yeah, Tinder was such a fucking
Yeah.
Tinder was so saturated at that time. It was like hard to even tell like
So
people you knew.
yeah,
Or
yeah. So I was like, should I? And she's like, Rachel from the car wash, and I'm like, oh shit. I was like, no way, like Rachel from the car wash, like. Yo, we had a great time whenever we talked and stuff, and ended up going over to her, went to her suite. We ended up talking all night, like till 5 in the morning type shit, and like really hit it off. Didn't even do anything. That kissed and sleep together, nothing. Just talked the whole night just to get caught up. And she had classes in the morning and I had work in the morning. And like by the time I left, I had 2 hours between when I left her place to when I worked, tired as shit because we didn't sleep at all. And like then the next time I hung out, like she, so the rolling joke is like I don't initiate anything.
Mm.
So like in my experiences with girls is they always initiated everything.
yeah, honestly, that's the safe way to go about it. Because if girls are interested, we'll probably initiate.
Well, yeah, and like I don't know, like I'm not a guy. I'm not a very like forward guy. Like I can like someone for a while and they'll never know until they like offer, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
so and like so then eventually, like we hooked up and everything, and the rest was history.
Well,
So
how long have you guys been married now?
so we've known each other. We've been dating for 8 years. We've been married for 3 years.
Congratulations.
So and we have a beautiful baby girl, Eleanor.
She is so sweet. I love that name. Like, when you announced her name was Eleanor, I was like, oh my,
Eleanor Louise.
so cute.
Her initials are ELL.
I know, because
L. We're thinking we'll probably have like 1 or 2 more kids.
you're hoping to have 3 kids, huh?
3 to 5.
3 to 5.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
I want a nun
Oh yeah. No. I want a big family.
Well, that's awesome. If,
Gotta put this man to work.
yeah, there you go. Listen, we need a baby announcement this year, buddy. Because you do kind of, how old is Eleanor now?
Years, still 8 months.
Year and 8 months. Yeah, you're getting to prime, like, baby gap. And where it's like,
Yeah, we want them 2 to 3 years apart.
yeah, that's typically how people like it. That's my thing is, like, I feel like I might have been able to spring for a second had I done it sooner. Mazel tov to be saying ahead of time, I'm gonna hope for and good things for you this year.
The only problem is because she's still breastfeeding, that like lowers the chances.
It does, but,
It's not still a chance, but it's just a lot lower.
yeah.
Because when you breastfeed, you don't really ovulate the same way.
Yeah. No, it does definitely affect it. If she does her cycle tracking, that will really help.
Oh yeah, she does.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then I think you guys are right on track.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah, we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah. No.
What?
She wants 3 to 5, and I am all for it.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Sunglass.
Yeah, honestly, like, feel free to come on anytime.
Okay.
I'm so glad that you shared your wisdom, your story, and also shared some laughs, some psychedelic stories.
Hell yeah.
Truly, you are a multifaceted person, and I would love to hang out. I'm glad we've reconnected since I've moved back. And we'll have to get the families together, do something fun.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm hoping for you to get another little one very soon.
Yeah, it'll probably happen.
Put in the vibes out.
I'm waiting for it.
And so thank you so much for being on here.
No problem.
And for everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in. You are capable. You are worthy. You deserve the things that you want, and you can get them. Seriously, each and every day, work towards your goals, and you will accomplish them, and you will get the life that you exist for. So thank you so much for watching this, and thank you for being here. Bye.
See ya.